Hello, and welcome back to Elden Ring. As you can see, we have just started on this character, or just gotten on them for the first time since the DLC came out, hence Ring of Mikola. And as you might have been able to tell by us having a lot of incantations on, this is our faith build. We've got 80 faith, 60 health, 50 mind, 30 endurance, 23 in strength and dexterity, 15 arcane, and a measly 10 intelligence. Though there is something else about this character. They're in New Game Plus. Like, you only get one of these per cycle. I have two. You only have one of these per cycle. I got two. Only get one of these per cycle. I have two. So this character is in New Game Plus. And I have apparently not beaten Mohg. So, we're gonna do that here now.
Dearest Mikola, you must abide alone a while. Welcome, honored guest, to the birthplace of our dynasty.
I don't know if this is just me, but that last line, it sounds like he's 12. And I don't know how to explain it. But I cannot get that out of my mind. Also, very sorry if I sound weird. I haven't recorded in a bit because I had a decent backlog from the whole intelligence run. We have Rotten Breath, we can use this. You'll love to see it. You don't love to see that one as much. Oh. I should have backed up after he did it the first time, but still. I was kind of expecting Mimic here to get the critical, but you know what? I trust Mimic here to do what's correct. And what's correct is taking aggro. Oh. Yeah, see, Mimikir knows what he's doing. As he sits there, almost dead. But, as I said, He knows what he's doing. So using fire against the fire guy. He knows what he's doing.
Nicola is mine and mine. I can see it as clear as day.
Yeah. Just ever so slightly off. I have Pearl Drake Talisman +2 on and Shard of Alexander. I probably should have moved over to this. I don't have the +2 for some reason. I feel like we probably would have first tried that if I had that on. But that's okay. Mohg is a pretty fun fight. We just have to not make stupid mistakes.
Thrice.
And we'll be fine. No reason to worry. Ow. I was about to say, I wonder if this just goes on until we run out of FP. But no, it does not. And we could probably just sit back. But where's the fun in that? I was gonna wait until they hit the rot breath, but then we wouldn't have been able to get the critical. So I'd rather just get the critical, especially because Mimic Tier is more about defense than damage. At least in comparison to the player. Mimic Tier could probably finish this out. Or maybe not.
I can see it as clear as day. The coming of our dynasty. Mohg.
Once again, New Game Plus. And we're also not wearing a defensive armor set. We could probably find significantly better runes or talismans. Whatever they're called in this game. But I was gonna say, do we not have it? But we do. And here, we can talk to Leda.
Ah, were you guided here by kindly Mikola? I am Leda. And like you, I was guided by faith along his honorable path. Touch the withered arm, and you too will be transported to the realm of shadow where Mikola the Kind now dwells. My compatriots are there already. Like us, they have heard kindly Mikola's call. If you can find them, they are certain to lend you aid. Come now, touch the withered arm, and travel to the realm of shadow. I will not be far behind. May we meet again.
So I think I briefly said it before, but again, I'm sorry if things sound weird because I haven't recorded in a while and there have been some updates. And for some reason, when I tried to record, it double played my mic. So when I spoke, you would hear my voice twice. And I think that may have been fixed. I'd spent like 10 minutes or so messing with the settings. So hopefully, but not entirely sure. I am I'm tempted to level intelligence because there are some things that require both. But we can go into... There are also some things that require arcane. So I want to go into arcane for now. And yeah, we don't have any of the DLC stuff just yet, so we're gonna need to go get those. The first one is right down this way. But yeah, there were some weird audio issues, and I think I fixed them, but I'm not entirely sure. And OBS had a little note saying that, I don't remember the specifics, but it was something about anti-cheat and possibly not working with games that have anti-cheat, and Elden Ring just so happens to be one of those games. So recording may not work, or it may have some difficulties to it. So if that's the case, I'm sorry. And if things are bad enough, you probably won't see this and will instead get a Dark Souls 3 tutorial. Like going through all the areas the way that the developers want you to go through the areas. Or intend for you to go through them, at least. Bark, bark, bark. And now you're dead. Now, I actually haven't looked at these. Oh. And easy backstab. And that's a guaranteed great hammer. But yeah, so I might attune the spells differently, but I'll do that if I do that. It would be after this part and before the next part. But yeah, you come here to get some Erdtree fragments, which increase your health and defense. I think it's just defense so you don't die as much. Yeah, deal and negate damage, that's it. So you do more damage and you take less damage. It's been a while since I've actually read up on those. But I have the Blasphemous Blade here just in case I need something to hit a bit harder. But I think I'm going to run mostly with the coated sword, because it does pure holy damage, it has pure faith scaling, and so, to me, that is like the faith weapon. Up here there's a hefty crackpot. Yeah, I figured because it's the faith weapon and this is the faith run, might as well run with it. I feel like it fits. And I'm gonna go through, show where a lot of the weapons and whatnots are. I believe, yeah. Over here, there's an enemy. And that enemy happens to drop a skidoo tree fragment. And then down this way, you got a painting. The Sacred Tower painting. In case you don't know or have forgotten, the paintings are things you find and they show an image, and then you have to find that image in the world. And when you do, you'll be rewarded with an item. And then here, there's the backhand blade, which is a new weapon class called the backhand blade. Pretty self-explanatory. And I might go with that, actually. I might go with the backhand blade. Give it a faith infusion. Because we can. Because straight swords are... While this does have a cool visual design and audio effect when you swing, and skill, it's still functionally a straight sword. Ooh, we have a lot of stuff. We're gonna clear that out after we're finished recording this part. But for now, Freya.
Ah, Lady Leda spoke of you. You're that tarnished. Guided here by kindly Mikola. Won't we all? I am Freya. I once fought alongside General Radahn. In battle, you can be sure I'll hold my own. Oh, another thing. Did you speak to our dour little friend? If you've yet to do so, have him give you a map of the Cross's whereabouts. You'll find more of them dotted about these lands. They are Mikola the Kind's footprints.
So that's these things. And with each one it says, carved words coalesce, I abandon here, and then it's some part of his body. So you got, like, his arms, his legs, his heart, his love, his flesh. Just different pieces of him. But they also serve as checkpoints, because you can see them on the map once you find them. Like, there's one here, I'm pretty sure, but you can't see it until you find it. And then here we have another NPC, the Horn Scent.
Fie, another. Treading the heels of Mikola. Then, as that woman would surely say, we are in our purposes well aligned. But understand, your kind are not forgiven. The Erdtree is my people's enemy. By Marika long betrayed. Set aflame. I believe Mikola's apologies when he says our delivery will come. but never will I see your kind as worthy. And yet my oath I cannot overlook. If Miquella it is whom you would seek, then comrade, allow me to give you this. These are the sites of the crosses I found. I urge you, follow after Miquella. As long as you abide by his footfalls, you will be no enemy to me. I urge you, follow after Miquella. As long as you abide by his footfalls, you will be no enemy to me.
So these two NPCs, Freya, she was a Redmane who followed General Radahn, but her heart was captured by Miquella, as all the NPCs here have. And the other one, the Hornsent, he's from a new group that wasn't in the base game, but is instead first found here in the DLC. And his people are a big part of the lore of the DLC, because America sent one of her sons with an army to destroy them in that area there, that legacy dungeon. Also, pretty much all of these crosses have a Scadutree fragment with them, which is another reason to go after them. And then here, you have Sir Ansbach.
You must be the Tarnished. I am Ansbach, formerly in service to Lord Mohg, but now, like you, another soul guided by kindly Miquella. I'm hardly the steady hand I once was. My fighting days are far behind me, which is why I have chosen to dedicate myself to investigation, to discern tender Miquella's ultimate purpose. I'd rather not volunteer service to a new master unless I know that I can be of use. May I request a service of you? 6 crosses identical to this one have been discovered in these lands. They are akin to tender Miquella's footprints, or gravestones, which mark what he's left behind. If you discover any more crosses, be certain to tell me. I presume you, too, are keen to know just what kind Miquella is doing here.
Hello there. Together, we work. Together, for Miquella the Kind. Many things we have found. Goodbye.
So, Ansbach, formerly in service to Lord Mohg, the boss that we killed, and Moore, who is a merchant. And we'll get more from them later on. For now, we can make our way down here, back the way we came, but instead head off southeast, because there's a path here that we can take. Now, just like the day before I started recording this, someone called Fat Brett, who is very good, highly recommend them. They make videos about characters in video games, mostly about villains, and like their motivations, their character flaws, that kind of stuff. Just talking about a character, dissecting them, and what ends up leading to their downfall. Another Scadutree fragment there. But it's very interesting to me. And just yesterday, as of me recording this, he dropped a video on Leda. And Leda is a character I've always felt kind of weird about, because in my initial run, she was my favorite character until the end. Revered Spirit Ash. Because she's a zealot. And I really enjoy zealot characters. People who are convinced beyond any shadow of a doubt that they are correct, that they are righteous, that they are doing things for the greater good, and end up finding themselves doing the most depraved things humanly imaginable while justifying that it's a good. And I love characters like that. Here, there's another painting. I'll show where the paintings, like where you go to get those rewards later on. For now, as I said, Leda was my favorite, but without spoiling things in case you haven't seen the DLC or played it or watched the previous runs, there's something she does later on near the end of the DLC that really changed how I view her. And it makes sense in character, but it was still just a bother to me. But here you get Blessed Blue, which slowly restores FP. It used to be 1 FP per second. They have since nerfed it to 1 FP every other second, which kinda sucks. But, oh well. And then an armor set and a fist weapon. And this fist weapon is strange because it has the range of a straight sword, but it has, like, no poise damage whatsoever, which makes it very good in one aspect. Like, the range, it is the best fist. By a long shot. No other fist has nearly as much range. But when it comes to poise damage, it's not very good. And then an armor set. And you can get a variant of the chest piece later on that has a cape. And it looks very nice. It says, "These knights set off on quests of discovery, hoping to find by themselves an oath to their choosing, or an oath of their own choosing, to serve in perfect, lifelong devotion." And then here, there is one thing, like one more thing here. It's this. And at the end of it, you get a talisman that increases your arcane stat by 5 points. But I don't really care for that. And I think for now I'm going to continue going through the open world, and then part 2 we can head off into that legacy dungeon that I pointed out. For now we're gonna head back here and head off. But as I was saying with Leda, she was my favorite, and then she does something later on in the DLC that makes sense for her character, but I wasn't a fan of. And I would say Ansbach became my favorite after that, though Leda's still my second favorite. I really enjoy her as an NPC. Bridge. And The incursion painting, as you can see, has a bridge. And it's right here. Right here on the map. And that gets you the Serpent Crest Shield. Which, it's good in terms of weight, physical damage negation, fire damage negation, and guard boost. But it's bad for magical lightning and holy. But the description: a finely made red shield featuring an engraving of a winged serpent excels at guarding against fire, said to have been made to commemorate the beginnings of the crusade started by Mesmer, son of America. And so that's an early way of the game telling you that Mesmer is the son of America. And then right over there's a cave, but we're not going to do that. If we do, it'll be later on in the run. Here, we get the Great Katana. And there's a Bone Dragon. Weak to holy damage. Here, Great Katana, the first of 3 weapons in another new weapon class of Great Katana. It says, large katana with a long, heavy blade. A weapon unique to the warriors of the Land of Reeds. Designed for aggression, this armament requires the wielder to throw their entire body into swinging it. The slashing attacks of its honed edge incite blood loss. And I've used it. It's pretty good. It's not the strongest, but it is pretty good and it's very fun. So, I would suggest using it. And then, over here we have the abandoned ailing village. And on the right side, there's this small path you can take. And at the end of this path, you got a revered spirit ash. The revered spirit ashes, they're kind of like skidoo tree fragments in the sense that they're upgrades. But those ones are for obviously your spirit ash, but I believe your horse as well, which is nice. And then we can make our way down here, where we can grab the Greater Potentate's Cookbook 2, which allows you to craft hefty furnace pots, which are required for defeating certain enemies, certain mini-bosses around the map. There's only, I believe, 2 that require it, but still. Anyways, back to Leda. Like I said, he dropped a video about her and her character just yesterday as of recording this. And I've said it before, I'm not super big on the lore. Ow. I'm not the worst at knowing the lore or the story. Like, I generally know what's going on, but some of the details tend to get past me. Because I'm not super big on reading item descriptions outside of weapons and armor. But there were definitely some things I learned in that video, despite her being my second favorite NPC, formerly my first favorite. Swift Spear, good weapon. So, I'd suggest going and watching that if you're interested in the characters or the story. But over here, we have a new set of grace. We can actually read this description. A metal-bodied spear of extremely lightweight make, being the result of a sophisticated molding technique, capable of swift, consecutive attacks. And this is actually one of my personal favorite weapons in the entire game. It's not that good, but it's serviceable enough for a light weapon, and has a very fun moveset. So, you might want to try it out sometime. But here, we have Thialier, whatever his name is. I still don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh, hello there. Are you the Tarnished? Lady Leda spoke of you. Another Tarnished, guided here by Mikola the Kind. My name is Thialier. I too am Tarnished, and here on kindly Mikola's account. So, well, here's to new beginnings, I suppose. I'm sorry, but well, I'm not much good at anything is all. I'm as weak as a kitten and thick as two planks. I've always been this way, since the very day I was born. I'm afraid the only thing I'm proficient in is poison. Sorry.
And he is a second merchant, this one dealing in poison. Though he does drop the deadly poison perfume bottle, which scales off dexterity and arcane, causes poison buildup. Could be a good offhand weapon for PvP. Just to quickly smack an enemy. And yeah, when leaving him, he doesn't say anything. Unlike, I believe, every other NPC. Probably in the entire series. He just isn't talkative. But moving on, you don't want to spend too much time around here. I know they're here somewhere. They will shut. There they are. Ugh. I got stuck on an enemy. But yeah, that was a cursed blade. They are a very fast and dangerous enemy. And you can get one as a Spirit Ash.
The pain. The pain. My arms, my legs, each lies a bloody ruin. The pain. The exquisite pain. Bale! Vile Bale! Oh, terror incarnate! There is life in me yet! I will soon feast upon your heart! Mark my words! You too shall know fear! Oh, the pain.
So, in the DLC, pretty much all the characters have been put under the charm of Kindly Mikola, one of the Children America. And it's kind of like mind control, but a bit more subtle. But there are two characters in the DLC that aren't under his spell. And they both have to deal with dragons. And that person, named Egon, is one of them. And Bale is a big spooky dragon that likes to eat people. And dragons, if my understanding of the lore is correct. Because he bit off a few heads. Well, that might not be cannibalism, that might just be a bloody fight. But here, you can get an ancient dragon smithing stone. And a foggy look out on everything. Down there, little fire. We didn't really acknowledge that enemy, but the hefty furnace pots, that's the enemy that's useful against. Not that specific one, but a variation of that enemy. And then that over there is the ruins where we got the map fragment right at the beginning. But anyways, now we can head back to that site of grace. Back to where Egon was yelling about Bale and pain.
Please, no more. I am sorry. I repent. Oh, come no closer. Oh, the horror. Please, savage me no further. Oh, oh, oh. Please, no more. Spare me your cruelty. Please spare me.
So, something's got him scared. And something tells me it's probably not this bird. That was very easy. If we cashed in the skidoo tree fragments, that would probably be a 2-shot. Also, 25 golden seeds on top of our 14 flasks. So, once again, New Game Plus. But here we can get a glimpse into what was maybe scaring him. The Ancient Dragon Man. And we've got some dragon stuff of our own. And we got him with the rot. And now we can just keep our distance. There's not much he can do at this point. The Ancient Dragon Man has died. And we will see him again. Not right now, but at a time later on. Here, we're not going to do this. I mean, we could do this right now, actually. The Dragon Pit. It's a pretty basic cave. Yeah, with everything we've gotten so far, we can get our Skadutri Blessing to +4, and our Revered Spirit Ash Blessing to +3. You can get them to 20 and 10, respectively. But yeah, we've got 15 minutes, because I like to keep things at or below an hour. So we could do this. Not too difficult. It is a bit unfortunate that despite dealing pure holy damage, that doesn't make them wither. There are certain things, like certain skills, that make enemies wither. Like Last Rites. I pressed dodge, but I guess I was still stunned. But yeah, like Last Rites. I know what it looks like, but I can't think of the name. But the one where you swipe your weapon like that, but it sends out a golden ray. The, like, golden arc one. Can't remember the name for some reason. Might be able to see it here. If we have it. We don't, surprisingly, but Sacred Order, Shared Order, those do it as well. Ooh, Sunrealm Shield, nice. That's rare. Not super good, but rare. But considering this does pure holy damage, I kind of expected it to make him wither away. Wither away just means that it does more damage against skeletal enemies and makes it where you don't have to smack them after they go down. Ooh. Yeah, so the way that they die here, but then they turn like a bluish white here, if you don't smack them, then after a minute, it's like 5 seconds or so, they'll respawn. But if you have like the Ash of War Sacred Order and you pop that and then kill an enemy with it, they won't do that. And you'll also do extra damage to them. Yep. I was gonna say, they usually run 3 times, so might want to wait for that. Nice. So we were able to successfully rot them. And there they go. If they do it once, they do it usually 3 times. And they leave these lava pools on the ground. Oh, the 4th time here, wow. So, guess they wanted to make up for only doing it twice before. And that's just them spitting the lava out instead of actually running. That's the slam that you want to back up for. That's just a dodge timing one. That's the run, so you want to get to the side of them. And if they do it once, they do it usually 3 times. They did it twice there. That probably should have hit me. But that's fine. Here, Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone for beating them. And then we can fall back into this room. And we can head over here. Be brave, show no fear. And that's the game trying to tell you to jump. And here we can land. Now, the base game has 4 different types of caves. I'm just gonna quickly say this. There's normal caves, which are just enemies and items. There are catacombs, which we can look here at the base game. So there are caves, which are just normal enemies and items. There are catacombs, which have undead enemies like skeletons. And then they tend to have traps, like the pillars that shoot fire and you have to knock the pillars down. And they also have Grave Glowwort to increase or like to upgrade your spirit ashes. Then there are tunnels, which tend to have like rocky enemies and upgrade materials for your weapons. And then there's one there, but we don't have it, so we can look up here. And the final one are hero graves, which are very similar to catacombs, but the difficulty is cranked up to 11. And here in the DLC, there's only 3 different types of caves. There are normal caves, which are like normal caves in the base game. Well, I guess there are 4. Because there's catacombs, which are pretty similar to the catacombs in the base game. There are jails, which there's one up here, the one that I pointed out but didn't go to. And they're pretty similar to caves in the sense that it's mostly just enemies and items, but they have a unique aesthetic, unique bosses, and unique enemies compared to the base game. And even in the DLC, they're pretty unique. And then the 4th and final one there's one that we can get access to now. I think they're right here on the map. And they're called Ruined Forges. And they're kind of similar to the tunnels of the base game, in the sense that they have rocky enemies and upgrade materials, but they're pretty unique. And this one is just, like the one we're in now, the Dragon Pit. It's like a weird mixture between a normal cave and a catacomb, because it's just enemies and items, but it's also undead enemies. But with that being said, we can head on into here. And as you can see, it's the Ancient Dragon Man again. And I don't need Mimic here for Ancient Dragon Man. But this is a just in case, because I want to keep this under an hour. And we're 56 minutes in, so... just in case. But I'm gonna limit Mimic here in this run. And I'm probably going to swap to a new DLC, Spirit Ash, at some point. And there we go. Ancient Dragon Man is dead. And we get the Dragon Hunter's Great Katana, which is the second of 3 Great Katanas. This one is unique, though. It does extra damage against dragons and has a unique weapon skill. So with that being said, I think we can end this here. We started out in the base game, actually. We beat Mohg. We came to the DLC. We went to the Scorched Ruins, the Church of Consolation, the rundown Traveler's Rest, the Artist Shack, the Church of Benediction. We went across the Elec Great Bridge. We found the Suppressing Pillar, and we went through Dragon's Pit, finding plenty of NPCs in Redmane Freya, Hornsent, Saransbach, Moor, Tialier, and Egon. And for items, we got Remembrance of the Bloodlord, we got the map for Gravesite Plains, we got the Blacksteel Great Hammer, a hefty Cracked Pot, the Backhand Blade, the Blessed Blue Dew Talisman, the Oathsacred Knight Set, the Pata, the Ash of War Savage Lion's Claw, the Serpent Crest Shield, the Great Katana, Greater Potentate's Cookbook 2, the Swift Spear, plenty of upgrade materials, a random drop Sunrealm Shield, and the Dragon Hunter's Great Katana. So, good progress today. And this is the best I've got. So anyways, good progress, and yeah.